Hi, I used to have a YouTube channel where I talked about sewing and things like that, and I'm probably still going to talk about those things at some point, but today I'm going to be doing something a little bit different. I'm actually going to be doing my makeup and having a little chit chat while I kind of talk about what got me back into makeup in the first place. I'm also going to explain a little bit about how I do my makeup while I go because I've been told I do my makeup wrong in a lot of ways. Uh, I like the way that that result looks, so I'm okay with doing it wrong, but I am going to explain a little bit of why I do the things that I do and how they're different than kind of what you're like supposed to do to achieve the current like desired results by most people. So to start with, I actually don't wear foundation, so I'm going to be going straight in with some contour. This is just the Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer. I have no idea, it's the light bronzer, that's the shade. So while I'm doing that, I'm just going to, so I got diagnosed with MS about a week or so ago. No, it's been longer than that now. It's been more like a month. Time is hard to keep track of when you work purely from home. So I got diagnosed with MS, and that actually explained quite a lot of things to me. I have always had a lot of pain, a lot of problems, and we never quite knew what was going on. But one of the things that I get is chronic fatigue. And for me, getting up and actually doing my makeup and having like a set routine has actually been a huge help with that. So that's kind of what got me back into doing my makeup. And that's actually all I do contour wise is I just define my jaw a little bit more because I feel like I have kind of a weak chin. But I really like the round chubbiness of my cheeks, so I don't really like doing anything that takes away from that. I do need to take my glasses off for the next part because I'm going to do my blush and eyes next, but I'll keep talking while I do. I'm just using this little 4-shade e.l.f. blush palette. I use the really rosy pink down here most of the time, and I just apply that, not going right across the cheekbone like again you're kind of standard supposed to, but just directly to exclusively the apples of the cheeks. So as I was saying, I started doing my makeup again as kind of a way to help me feel more put together and awake when dealing with my chronic fatigue. Now, I want to state that I understand that that probably isn't necessarily the most helpful thing on the planet for a lot of people. The thing with chronic fatigue is that you're very tired, and having something that is an obligation that you kind of make yourself do every day can be the opposite of helpful for a lot of people. And I absolutely understand that. I'm not out here to recommend this to anybody. I just kind of want a little talk about what's working for me because I've been trying to find content on MS and things like that since I got diagnosed. And whenever I'm looking for content, I feel like part of what can be helpful is documenting my own journey in my way, and I've decided to start doing that. But again, not trying to give advice, not saying this will work for anybody. I am not a doctor. I am not a medical expert. And the thing with advice like this is it will work for some people, it will make other people feel worse, and nobody should feel obligated to like do something because they see me doing it or feel like a certain thing is definitely going to help them because I'm not sure that it will, and I don't want anybody to feel bad or anything for not doing things the way I'm doing them. Next, I'm going to be going in with some eye primer. I really like this NYX eyeshadow base. I use the white one. This is very old and probably I should be getting a new one, but the thing with these is there's a lot in them. It's still almost entirely full, so I feel bad getting rid of it, but it's probably on its last leg, and I just go in with my finger with that. So, as I said, I've started doing my makeup recently, and I feel like it's helped a lot. I feel like, so the specific advice from my doctor was, with the level of fatigue I had, she thought it would be helpful to do things that would make going to bed and laying down for naps in the middle of the day slightly more inconvenient. Not telling myself I wasn't allowed, but just basically making it feel like work to go lay down. Because essentially what was happening was I wasn't feeling any more rested after naps, but I would basically just lay down and then not get out of bed all day. And I was getting really frustrated because I was struggling to get things done. And I do work from home. I work as what's known as a commissioned author, which means publishing companies pay me to write books that they then publish under either an agreed upon pen name that I've submitted or ghost written for somebody else. I get paid per word, and I quite like the job. It lets me write full time, which I haven't been able to do up until this point. But it does mean I need to maintain a certain amount of words per day, and I was just really struggling to do that with the fatigue I had. I'm lucky enough to not need to go into a physical job. I probably still wouldn't be able to do that where I'm at right now, but even working from home, I still need to get up and do my tasks for the day. So with my eyeshadow, I'm going to out the gate state that the colors are probably in the wrong spots. This is the Lilac You A Lot palette by ColourPop. However, I dropped this at one point and all of the little pots scattered out. You can see there's one that I never quite found again. But I'm going to be using this shade here, this one up here, and this one here today. So on my palette, that's Cloud, Iffy, and Trainwreck. But as I said, I'm 90% sure almost all of those are incorrect. So mileage may vary on your own palette. Just check and make sure my brush is clean really quick. But anyways, I have found doing my makeup, putting on something resembling, you know, clothing that I would wear out of the house is helpful. Now that last one is something, that second one, the getting dressed, is something I struggle with, because one of my worst symptoms is something called the MS hug, which is where basically you have this really tight constriction around your ribs. And if I wear any kind of like, normally I prefer to wear a binder, but I basically can't wear that at all when I have that going on. And even like a bralette or a normal bra can just be really restrictive and uncomfortable. So a lot of the times I end up staying in, you know, some kind of graphic shirt that is either mine or my husband's. It's hard to say which shirts belong to whomst at this point because we buy a lot of them together and we keep them in the same closet because there's only one closet in the bedroom, and that's where I keep like my comfy clothes and where he keeps all of his clothes. And you know, just it doesn't sound like much, but for me at least, it is a big help to try and look somewhat like I would if I was actually going to have to see people, which I don't get a chance to do super often. As I mentioned, I work from home. Not only that, I actually don't drive. So I'm limited to when either my husband gets days off, and to be fair, when he has days off, he's very good about, you know, making sure I get out of the house, making sure that we take at least 1 or 2 days a week where we go out, even if it's just to a restaurant to get a meal and then back home, or to our local game shop for me to get like some hobby supplies or something. But, you know, still you're looking at, that's assuming that I'm feeling up to it too those days, because there are absolutely days that I just don't feel very up to leaving the house. And when I feel that way, I'd rather not push myself too. But it is quite hard to maintain friendships when you basically have to always expect everybody to come to you and pick you up and cater to you. So it gets kind of lonely sometimes. I try and compensate with that with having online friends and people to talk to on there. That's, again, another thing though that I struggle to find motivation for. I feel like when I get dressed, and not even necessarily dressed, because like I said, I don't really put on clothing, but when I do my makeup, it makes it easier to want to reply to messages, to have a conversation, because it just makes me feel a little bit more person-like and less like I'm going to be going in with some mascara now. I just have this little Tartelette tubing mascara sample. I really need to actually buy some mascara at some point, because that sample is getting mighty low, but it is what I have available at the moment. Now, with doing my makeup, I do my best to not put any kind of time restriction on that. I try and give myself some semblance of routine, but no kind of like schedule. So I get out of bed when I feel ready to, I do my makeup when I feel ready to. Like today is actually a great example. It is probably close to 5 o'clock, and I'm just now sitting down to do my makeup, in part because I've wanted to sit down and film a video kind of talking about something. I've wanted to get back into filming for a while because I feel like posting YouTube videos makes me feel like I'm doing something social, even though I'm actually just sitting alone in my room talking to a camera. So I wanted to get back into it. So this is mostly an attempt at that more than it is anything else. But it's still done, and honestly, now that I've started doing it, I already feel a lot more human. Next up, I've got a mascara, somebody, or not a mascara, an eyeliner somebody got me at some point. I'm not familiar with this brand, but there's a wee little elephant on it, and I'm using their shade Amethyst, just the one down at the bottom that is the standard roll-up one. It also has a felt tip one at the bottom, but I'm not very good at doing winged eyeliner still yet because my hands shake sometimes. So I'd rather not do a winged eyeliner and it turn out awful today on film. Alright, and for me that's actually basically almost done with my makeup. All I'm going to do now is throw on a little bit of lip gloss. Again, this is another product that has definitely seen better days and probably should be going in the trash soon. It is a Victoria's Secret's Color Gloss lipstick from back when I used to work there, 2017. So probably should be getting rid of this soon, but I don't have a lot of products right now, and I have not yet had the energy to go out and buy any more, so we're working with. And for me, that's actually about where I'm wrapped up doing my makeup. I'm not going to put on any kind of concealer. I'm not going to put on any kind of like setting spray. And the reasons for that come down to why I'm doing my makeup in the first place, which is essentially just to make me feel a little bit more awake and put together. And doing all of those steps makes it harder to take off at the end of the day. Now, I do this to make it slightly more inconvenient for me to take a nap. I would now have to either not use my eye mask and take a nap out on the couch, or take off my makeup if I wanted to go lay in bed. I still want makeup I can easily take off, because there's a decent chance that at some point I still decide, you know what, it's worth removing my makeup to take a nap because I am very tired. And again, I am not saying this to try and make anybody feel like they should do their makeup if they have a disability. It is work. It objectively is not necessary. It is just something I do because I've found that it helps me stay awake and not just want to lay in bed and nap all day. But also, there's nothing wrong with having a day where I just lay in bed and nap. I do allow myself those days. I just don't want to do that every day. I am lucky enough to have the energy where if I do something that makes it, like I said, slightly more inconvenient, I am likely to stay awake. I do have the energy. I do want to do things. I just need to do something that makes me, I guess, feel a little bit better. It's a mental thing, and I know that. It doesn't actually get rid of the symptom. It doesn't actually give me more energy. It makes me feel a little bit better about me, and that helps me stay awake a little bit longer and do a little bit more. So I hope you find this interesting or helpful. I'll probably be around more talking about MS and anything that makes me happy. Some of that'll be sewing. I actually have a little bit of that's makeup related that's probably coming. A friend of mine recently got me the My Little Pony makeup from Beauty Creation. So I'm going to be doing a unboxing of that. I don't have it all here yet, but I'm going to be really excited and looking forward to that. I'm also probably going to talk about part of what got me out of makeup in the first place, and the somewhat complicated feelings I have in some ways about being back into it. Regarding makeup, I was basically just saying that I'll probably talk about some of the reason that I got out of makeup and the kind of gender expectations and things like that that can go along with makeup, and basically my thoughts on it then versus now. I definitely want to do some more sewing videos, some lace making videos when I feel up to it. These are easy to do because I basically just get to sit and talk while I do something I would normally be doing anyways. Whereas the sewing ones, in addition to the work going into sewing, I do have to take the time to set up to film. So I'm not sure that I will always have the spoons to do anything like that. But makeup has been something that's really been helping me get through this current flare-up. I'd also kind of at some point like to just kind of go into my MS journey and how I got here, the various diagnoses I had prior to getting an MS diagnosis. I don't even know if I said what MS is in this video, but that stands for multiple sclerosis, which is basically a nerve condition. I'm sure I have other things that I want to talk about at some point, but I can't think of any of them right now. So I'm going to close off here for now, and I'm going to try and make myself post once a week. Oh, what I actually do for work, how that works, and how I got into it. That's the other thing I wanted to talk about, because I feel like working as a commissioned author is different from straight up ghostwriting. I kind of want to talk about the difference between what I do and standard ghostwriting, how I got into it, you know, the logistics of doing it full time, and all of that jazz, as well as just my writing process in general. Writing is a huge part of my day and what I do. I love storytelling and things like that, so I could be interesting to talk about that if people are interested. But as I said, this is mostly just going to be a space for me to kind of talk about things that make me happy and, you know, talk about how I'm doing, very vlog style. So I hope people like it. If not, I completely understand, especially if you're a subscriber from back when I did more sewing related content, if this isn't quite your jam or what you're here for. But I will also, I also do like LARP events where I set up booths and sell. So I might do some vlogs about the process that goes into that. Currently, I only do one a year just because they are so much work. But I have already started preparations for that one. Then it's in April, so it's quite a ways away still, but I have started preparations, just making sure I have everything I want made and all that, getting a list together of everything I'm planning on selling. But if any of this interests you, please subscribe. Thank you for watching till the end if you did. Drop a like or a comment if you liked it. This feels weird and kind of shilling, so I'm going to stop now. But I hope you have a good rest of your day. Bye-bye.